Hey there.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. How about you?
Very well, very well. Hopefully you can see me okay.
Yeah. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in my apartment here in New York.
How's it going in New York? Isn't it snowing a ton right now?
Yeah, it's been snowing today. I had an appointment with the surgeon for my knee surgery. I just had both my knees operated on. So went out in the storm for a little bit, but it's kind of getting to that point where it's starting to melt a little bit and get nasty and slushy out there. Yesterday was
Yeah.
really pretty and now it's just going to be nasty for the next however many days.
Gotcha. Yeah, my boss lived in New York for like 10 years and he was saying the same thing. But yeah, of course, you being from Atlanta, like we really would love to see some snow down here every
No
now and
kidding, no kidding. It's a little different, It's up here. You're not as quite as starved for it, but I still got the southerner in me that goes out and wants to touch the snow, but make a snowman, make a snowball, thrown around, etc.
then. Yeah, definitely. So can you introduce yourself and kind of explain who you are for folks from our audience that might be watching and, I haven't watched The Bachelorette this past season.
Sure, sure. My name is Bennett Jordan. I'm originally from Atlanta. I was actually born in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but grew up in Atlanta from the time I was 4 until 18. I've been up here in New York working initially in banking at Citigroup for about 5.5 years, and I've been doing executive search and consulting for hedge funds, wealth managers, and private equity funds for the past, call it, almost 10 years now. I did something a little crazy and out of my comfort zone this past summer during the middle of COVID and quarantine, and went on The Bachelorette. And so it was a great experience, had a ton of fun with it, got to meet some incredible people, fell in love, had my heart broken, and, wouldn't trade that experience for the world. I'm super glad I did it, and I do it all, again tomorrow, wholeheartedly.
So how did you come to be on The Bachelorette then?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of a few things, but really, kind of being in this environment up here, in my one-bedroom apartment here in New York. And, I was at a point in the year from a career standpoint where I was very well positioned to go and do something a little bit, outside of the box, and realized I probably wasn't going to be bringing in new business during the summer. So I was going to be looking at the same sort of routine and grind, and thought, what could I be doing to, obviously try to meet someone, first and foremost, but then hopefully, open up some doors and, just get outside of the apartment and do something new.
Yeah.
So I sort of checked, a number of those boxes. I never really thought of myself as a reality TV type of a person.
Definitely
Never
made an unusual year even more unusual then for yourself.
Yeah, one of those things where, people had sort of encouraged and said I should do this, for quite some time. And it was kind of like, haha, yeah, you go on The Bachelorette, late one night after marinating on it for about 2 weeks, decided to go ahead and send in that application, and, heard back the next day, and it was kind of just a bang, 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 happened really quickly. And there I was going out to Palm Springs.
So yeah, that's definitely sounds wild and way more interesting than how I spent my past year. So yeah, kudos to you. And of course, we all love watching your journey. I mean, definitely like a fan favorite. I think everyone was talking about all the antics you were up to every week.
Yeah.
From the face masks to the robes to,
Sure.
that gifts to Noah.
Yep.
So there's a lot of stuff we want to definitely dig into about the show. Anytime we show, we got a lot of submitted questions about it. But we want to first ask you all about food and dining, because we're Atlanta Eats TV, and we cover all the best restaurants in Atlanta. So first I want to ask you, do you get to, visit Atlanta often, and go out to eat there, or you kind of just, you come see family, maybe visit 1 or 2 spots?
Yeah, sure. I come back to Atlanta a handful of times a year, try to come back 3 or 4 times at least, and spread that out a little bit. Each year's a little different depending on the holidays, what the family's doing, but the majority of my family is down there in Atlanta, the surrounding suburbs. So, I come home as often as possible, see all of them, and, certainly go out to a few of the, regular stomping grounds in terms of restaurants and whatnot. But I've got a few favorites and a few local go-tos.
let us know. So what are your favorite places to visit when you come down and visit?
So growing up, kind of played the classics and tend to go back to those. And I'm from Marietta, and grew up going to high school at Marist and Dunwoody. So sort of between those two areas, those were my stomping grounds. I'm a huge fan, as is sort of a lame answer, but a huge fan of Houston. So you can't go too wrong there. I think it just checks the box. You're always it's a classic. I'm also, up here in New York, you're kind of starved for the, everyday cheap Tex-Mex, which is, everywhere in Atlanta. And, my favorite spots, along those lines would be like the El Aztecas of the world, La Paria and Jalisco's there in Buckhead.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Fox Brothers Barbecue. Was there not too long ago when I was last in town. Love that one. The biscuit, fried chicken biscuit and gravy, also starved for a lot of that up here. Although I do have one spot in New York that I like, but homegrown, down there.
Oh my gosh. Homegrown's
fantastic.
The best. Do you wait in the line, or what do you do? How do you, what's your game plan when you go to homegrown?
Yeah, you just, I don't, I'm not downtown, I'm not downtown Atlanta too often. So just kind of have to wait it out.
Yeah. For those who aren't from Atlanta, it's a great place in Atlanta. I definitely recommend anyone visiting our city go and visit. But yeah, just get ready to hunker down for like an hour wait.
Exactly.
But it's worth it. That comfy chicken biscuit.
Oh my God, so good. I like Iberian pig for tapas. And then you have another one of my favorites up here in New York that has now come down there is Le Bouquet. The Cajun chicken dish at Le Bouquet is phenomenal. I've only been there a couple times. It's relatively new, I guess, the past few years there in Atlanta, but another good one. And I don't know, that sort of rounds out the list. It's really all about family when I come home.
Yeah, that's a great list though. You've got like some cheap spots, you got some really nice spots, and Iberian pig is fantastic. Le Bouquet, I'm not exactly sure how to. I would pronounce it wrong. They taught, like, last time I visited, they like spent a whole thing teaching us how to say it, but yeah.
In one ear out the other.
Yeah, it's a good spot. So what would be kind of your best, whining and dining tips if you're taking a lady out? We got Valentine's Day coming up. What would an ideal date with Bennett look like?
Sure. Yeah, whining and dining, I think, number one, first and foremost, to all the guys, you really want to be, comfortable in yourself. Don't do something that's outside of your comfort zone. Otherwise, it's going to come out on the date, and then you're going to, look like a goofball, and you're trying to pose and do something that you're not, comfortable with. So I think that's sort of number one, whatever that may be, whether you are going to get, cheap eats, whether you're going out to a fancy restaurant, really doesn't matter. I think just being comfortable in your own shoes, wearing something that you're comfortable in, don't, overdo it. That would be sort of my, just first and foremost advice. I think there's a lot of girls out there looking to be wined and dined and taken to the newest, trendiest, restaurant, or, going and getting $20, $25 drinks. I'm not really that type of guy. I'm not to say that I haven't done it. Of course I've done it. But I just don't think that that's, really in your best interest for a first date. A special occasion, sure, of course, go, do your thing, but do what you're most comfortable with, and just enjoy yourself. I think that's, sort of it. I think I am a bit of a, hopeless romantic and cheesy guy. I can, appreciate flowers and chocolates and all of those things, but Valentine's is really a tough one, right? At least up in here in New York, it's always a huge pain to go, first off, get the reservation, right? A lot of competition out there for reservations on Valentine's, and probably isn't the best night to go out, right? Mm-hmm. So more often than not, I have either cooked, a special meal, sort of combined, some of our favorite things, or if, I could do some sort of a rendition on, a first date or something like that. I think that's really special and a little bit more heartfelt. And then you're, getting involved and doing something at your home, and not having to get out in the middle of the crowds and the prefix dining that usually comes with restaurants on Valentine's.
Gotcha. So, definitely, that fixed price menu can be tough sometimes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
like to just order from the regular menu and not be
Yeah.
so constrained to, I'm having a 4 or 5 course meal and I don't really want the, dessert or whatever it may be, right?
What about style? What do you wear on a first date to feel confident? Definitely watching the Bachelorette, that's something that all of Bennett's outfits stood out to us, from the scarf, on that first night, to the
Sure, sure.
bathrobe situation. So
Sure, sure,
yeah,
sure.
and you're doing this kind of throwback sweater.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had it on earlier. I was getting a little hot and heated for you guys. So I had to lose that one. No, again, I think it's really what you're most comfortable in. I think it obviously depends on what you're doing for the date. Personally, if it's going to, or just a bar or restaurant or something of that nature, wear something that's, not going to get you hot and sweaty. You probably are to have the nerves going a little bit, try to be cool and comfortable. I like layers, so I can, shed the blazer or shed the, sweater underneath, as I've done here, throw it over your shoulders. I tend to run hot, so that's just me. I need to, layer up and kind of be able to strip if I have to.
Okay, gotcha. Always ready to
Yeah.
huh?
Shoes wise, I think again, it depends if you're going to be walking, and that's such a, thing here in New York, right? You're usually going to have to, walk from one destination to the other, or maybe you're working in a little bit of a romantic stroll before or after, dining, right? So wearing a good comfy pair of shoes that you're not going to get, messed up in the slush outside or in the snow, is pretty critical. If you're in Atlanta, I think the Belgian loafers that I rocked on the show are certainly worth checking out. They're incredibly comfortable, great for driving, and pretty fashionable as well.
All right, that's a yeah, good hot tips. Yeah, definitely Atlanta's a driving city for sure.
Yeah.
What about drinks? Do you have a favorite cocktail or a drink that's your go-to?
Sure. I love mezcal, despite all of the martinis that I was drinking on the show. Mezcal is really, that's my spirit of choice. I can drink it straight, as it's kind of intended, or in cocktails. Again, that's probably one of the reasons I like Mexican, food so much as well. It's, always have fun cocktails, margaritas, etc., and love mezcal.
What was with the martinis? Did they just kind of keep handing you a martini so you'd have it in the shot? I do hear that there's definitely like plentiful alcohol on the show.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong, I like a martini. I think if going out to, a steakhouse or something like that, I probably would start with a martini, or, if it's the occasion, I was doing that with the show, kind of went hand in hand with my, first evening there, and my delivery with the tuxedo and the scarf and the whole sort of James Bond, shtick that I was pulling off there. Naturally, I thought the martini would kind of, push that over the top and be a nice accessory.
Gotcha.
So that was the idea. And then from that point on, it was just kind of like, oh, here's Bennett, here's a martini,
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, first impressions are so important, and you definitely made a really strong one. And speaking of which, how did you feel when you first saw Tayshia and you kind of learned that Tayshia was gonna step in for Clare?
Yeah, wow. I mean, Tayshia was, breathtaking. I think, I kind of came back after first getting to meet her, and for the first time was speechless. And I think that was one, the guys were like, wow, never seen Bennett not have something to say. And, she really took my breath away. I think she's incredibly stunning. Her energy is contagious. And, for us that have been there the entire time with Clare, it was just such a refreshing, new leaf that was turned over with someone who was, giving us all an honest and open chance, versus, Clare was kind of focused on Dale from the start.
Yeah. Was there kind of any juicy behind the scenes stuff that that happened on this show that, we didn't get to see that you can remember?
I mean, I guess the best way to answer that is that, naturally, there's an entire week that takes place for, 35 different guys, right? And you get to see 2 hours of snippets of, conversations and bits and pieces of things that happen the whole time. So I don't even know where to begin to start to answer that. Sure, there was tons of things you didn't see, right? I mean, that's just sort of the nature of, reality TV, and, the little snippets that you actually get when you're tuning in versus the, full experience.
Yeah. What was maybe like, the funniest thing that happened, if you can remember, that like didn't make it into the show?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I can't talk too much about, the behind the scenes stuff. And I would say that, you don't unfortunately get to see a lot of the funny parts, right? Whether that be, antics with Ed or, people just
Yeah.
their ridiculous personalities coming out over time and being in an environment like that. Because, bottom line, the most important thing and the goal obviously is to find love. And so that's where it's, it's focused more on that than just being purely, entertaining and funny.
Yeah. Who do you keep in touch with? Speaking of Ed, who are you still texting on a regular from the show?
I'm in touch with a lot of the guys, actually. Most of the guys here in New York, I'm in touch with fairly often and regularly. Ed is in touch with me most every day, and we always kind of have a text or a conversation going at any given point. And then there's, others, further across the country, and, we'll check in on each other from time to time. I think, but the majority, I've seen a lot of, Dr. Joe, and Riley, catching up with Riley and Jordan here in New York, and Dale. I've seen Dale a couple times and been meaning to catch up with him again. Looking forward to seeing him soon. And then, probably again Ed. Yeah.
Who would you pick to be the next Bachelor if it couldn't be you? Of course, we all are shipping you. We'd like it to be you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Would be a lot of
fun. That's a tough one. I think, it kind of just depends on your taste. I think it, entirely depends on what, I don't want to say anything against anyone. I think I'll just play that one straight and narrow. But the other thing I think that you have to take into consideration is that there's going to be, a whole nother Bachelorette between now and the next Bachelor. So there's going to be a whole nother slate of, new 30 guys or whatever coming in that have shots at that, Bachelor as well. I do think that there's a lot of benefits to having someone who has been in the show. And I think I've seen that sort of with the current Bachelor with Matt, it's a lot. It's a eye-opening experience to be, sort of thrown into something. It's as outlandish as reality TV, but as out there as the Bachelor, and dating 30, 35 women is tough. And I think that sort of prior experience is really helpful for the lead to kind of know how things work and at least have some sort of idea what's going on instead of just being thrown to the wolves. Yeah,
definitely. It's been, so you've been watching this season, I guess, with Matt. Are there any ladies in the current season that you maybe got your eye on?
I thought one of the ladies who was let go earlier on, her name is, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, either Sina or Sine. She's a Florida girl. I'm a Dogs fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Dogs fan. That might be, conflict number one.
I'm a Georgia Tech girl, but yeah, still forgive you.
Girl. She's out in Denver now. I think she's really, really cute. And then, otherwise, I think, I'm fairly open. I actually, talked about, trying to see if there was any interest with Andy Dorfman, our other fellow, Atlantan, former, Bachelorette. Think she might be dating someone, not too sure. And then, otherwise, I guess I'm just sort of open to it. And, I'm not necessarily focused on dating someone within Bachelor Nation, not like anything like that. I think, regular everyday girl is just, A-okay with me.
Gotcha. That answers, a question we got pretty frequently leading up to this, is Bennett single? Do I have a chance? So
totally single. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the follow-up question to that, from, our Atlanta Eats audience is, would you ever consider moving back to Atlanta? Are you kind of stuck, or are you committed to New York for now?
Yeah, I'll never say never. I love Atlanta, don't get me wrong. I I spent almost, 14, 15 years of my life there. And, I'm kind of one that I like to spread my wings and get out and see the world. I think, honestly, if I moved, which I very well may, next year, it's something that's certainly on my mind, would probably move to California, I might even, consider Miami or something like that. I'm not by any means a Miami guy. That's why I think LA might be a little bit better of a fit, but, it's a far way to go, to be that far away from the family as well. And the thought of being, there in Miami might be nice. So we'll see. Those things sort of, noodling in the back of my head.
Gotcha. And going back to, your time on the show, I think we were all a little curious about, what went down with Noah. Is that something that's resolved since the show has aired? Or have you guys kind of just...
I have negative, beef or tension with Noah. I never, in my mind, really sort of never did, despite how it kind of, came out there. I commend Noah for doing as well as he did on the show. I think it was, perhaps a bit of a disservice to myself and to, Tayshia and our, potential there. But, is what it is. And I think, the bottom line and the way that I kind of look at it is that really any woman that's, sincerely and seriously interested in Noah as, their suitor and, hand in marriage probably isn't interested in Bennett. And, I think that in and of itself, we were such, different people at such different places in our life. If there was a girl that I was interested in, that she was more interested in Noah than me, fine. I have zero interest in her, and literally that would absolutely never work out. And so I think that, the way that I look about it, the way that I think about it now, Noah and I are in touch, occasionally we text, we've talked, we've, been in touch on, Instagram and such. By all means, I have nothing but, support for Noah. I want him to be successful in all that he does. And, I'm rooting for him just like I'm rooting for the rest of the guys as well.
Yeah. It's definitely, there's always tension when you watch the show between some contestants, but sure. You're definitely watching it. You don't think like, okay, they're like mortal enemies and gonna just like hate each other forever. So it makes sense that you wish them all the best and stuff.
Yeah, you gotta have a little drama, exactly.
Yeah, of course. That's why we love it. Did you think when you gave him the gift that he would react, or how did you think that he would react? I guess to the gift that you gave him.
I honestly thought he'd be pretty dumbfounded and kind of taken aback. The intention with the gift was, totally honest and trying to just really have a moment, not where I was, on a soapbox sort of giving a lesson on emotional intelligence, but really to sort of make him think about, my actions, his actions in comparison to the, 4 components of emotional intelligence, and just maybe, have a honest, earnest, conversation about it. And I have a younger brother as well, who is 1 year away from, Noah, right? And so I kind of looked at it as sort of an older, younger brother, moment, and was hoping just to have a very honest, heartfelt conversation with him. The way that it came out, I saw it on TV too, and I was like, maybe that didn't look quite as good as I, had hoped and, anticipated. But, at no point was I, super worked up or, yelling or, screaming or anything like that. It was, concerted delivery and a pretty, in hindsight, a pretty concise, thoughtful delivery on emotional intelligence, and a point-by-point comparison of, how one person acted versus another. So, I have no regrets about it, end of the day, and I think I know how it was intended, and would probably, do something, very similar again, given the opportunity. I don't have any regrets other than, perhaps just saying, hey, Tayshia, if you're into Noah, see ya, I'll leave right now, and left it at that, right?
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Tasha and Zach? I guess watching it back and seeing, her ultimate choice.
Yeah, no. I was really, really happy and, touched my heart, warmed my heart, and was surprised when I saw how everything sort of played out there at the end. It was really, really nice. Some beautiful moments for television. And I think that, those two clearly have a genuine connection. I know that Zach is a very heartfelt, genuine, true guy. And I couldn't be happier for them. I think, at the end of the day, you look back and you think, in no real life, scenario is one woman dating 35 men or 30 men or whatever it is, So just happy that it worked out. And I'm a believer, obviously, in the process and the journey and how things sort of work on the show. So I've seen it, felt those feelings. Those feelings are real, and seen it, firsthand. So I'm super excited for him, right? And, wishing him the best.
Yeah, yeah. I think we all, that proposal was so beautiful that even, the most hardened cynic, it's like, okay, they're pretty cute. What did make you decide to go back though and try to win back Tayshia, after she sent you home?
Well, I mean that's kind of a tough one to answer as well. Let me just think about how to effectively say that. Bottom line, I thought that there was sort of some unfinished business. I felt like that departure and being sent home the way that I was, from the 2-on-1 with Noah was a little short-sighted, and I thought it was pretty unfortunate. I was really shocked. I didn't even believe it. That sort of walk off. They showed parts of it, but it was like the slowest walk, to get to the car there.
Yeah.
I was in disbelief. I thought I was getting punked. I thought Ashton Kutcher was going to jump out of the bushes and say, "You punked" or something, Yeah. And, kind of getting in that sort of exit interview was, it was emotional, and it was shocking. It was like, it was getting hit with all of this at once. I wasn't just bawling, crying, because I hadn't even digested it yet, and it wasn't until sort of, going back and being, sequestered in a new room and, kind of going through the ringer with the show and everything that, those emotions sort of came out. And, over that time, it gave me some, about, I don't know, 2-3 days there to really reflect and think, into it. And I realized, those feelings that I've begun to express to Tayshia were super, super real and, deeper than I even, realized after I'd taken that moment to, analyze it. So, talked with, the production. Obviously hadn't sent me home at that point, and was able to, talk and get to go and, present myself again and take one last shot. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for too long. I thought, honestly, going into that, second after I had the comeback, I thought, absolutely, had a great conversation with her, put my heart out, and then that cocktail, ceremony that we were supposed to have was going to have another moment to, follow up on that. And I thought for sure I'd be, hometowns, the family be coming out to Palm Springs to visit and get to know her. And I think it could have ended up, slightly differently, but just wasn't meant to be. And I think, Tayshia was, further along in some of her other relationships, and just felt like, we weren't quite there. So is what it is.
Yeah. You definitely, gave it your all, right?
For sure. As I try to do always.
So I see a lot of comments coming in the chat. There's a lot of concern about the plant on your wall, that you need to water it. I just wanted to mention it because I'm seeing a lot of comments about it. Is it okay? One? Is it just the? I don't know.
My plant is so happy and alive and well. Both of them. There's one that's hanging right here, and there's one that is, it's sprawling out in all sort of areas, and it's super tall and erect. So it's pretty happy,
Okay, good. All right. Yeah. People are concerned. So I just, I wanted to pass it on. There was a lot of comments about plants. There's a lot of concerns. I wanted to relay that to you.
I take very good care of my plants. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
So you're a plant dad then?
Yeah, just kind of like, try not to overdo it. I've got 3 actually. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not too crazy.
No. Yeah. But the one over here is it's pretty, it's like 6.5 feet, 7 feet tall plant. It's pretty tall,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And I also wanted to ask you about, your self-care tips, definitely some iconic moments on the show, with the face masks and getting to see, the self-care routine. What are you keeping up with that now?
Yeah, sure. Ideally, I mean, this scruff will probably go maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But yeah, no, absolutely. I take care of myself. I've kind of been overdue for probably a 5 or so step beauty routine on Instagram. I'll drop that sooner than later. There's only just so much to do in such little time to be spending on Instagram. But I try to, get some good content out there and things like that. I think I've gotten a lot of requests for that, so I'll definitely do it. But, aside from, face masks, I regularly, use, toner. obviously sunscreen. I've got some serums that I use. You know, I can go into soaps, exfoliants, all that good stuff. You know, eye cream, etc. Yeah, I love it all. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we're excited. We need the full routine, the 10-step one. So
I'll put something together soon.
What about healthy eating tips? And you know, we know that you just had knee surgery. I'm glad to hear that. It sounds like you're on the path to recovering from that.
Yeah.
But what are your healthy eating tips for us?
Yeah, growing up in the South, right? You kind of, or at least I did. I don't know. I'm not saying it for everyone, but I was a meat and potatoes kind of a guy, right? And I didn't like salad, didn't like like a lot of greens. I'd eat some broccoli and asparagus, but that'd be kind of it. So I felt like it was tough to really get all of your greens. And an ex-girlfriend back in the day, introduced me to green juices, and I thought, well, I can just chug this green juice and I can get all of my vegetables and fruits in one sitting, just bang, and then I have to worry about it the rest of the day. So I love beginning my day with the green juice. I make one almost every morning, and have that with my coffee, and then I probably have some sort of a protein shake or something like that. I like a liquid breakfast, kind of just rehydrates you and gets the day going, and then I can kind of sit there and sip them for about an hour and a half or so and spread out my morning. Feels like I quite haven't broken the fast yet, and it's just kind of gets the morning juices going a little bit. But then honestly, I try to eat pretty healthy. When I'm not indulging on donuts and fried chicken and burgers and such, which
are those the go-to cheat meals, fried chicken or donuts?
Yeah, I would say that pretty much once a week I'm seeking out some sort of a cheeseburger and fried chicken at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I have a huge, spot in my heart for donuts, and I'd be very interested in some of your, favorite Atlanta, donut spots. I just sent my mom someplace that she went and checked out, in Marietta. I forget what it's called. But it looked awesome. Yeah, I think, I'm a fan of either intermittent fasting, if that's for you. And I can do that pretty easily, and just kind of, it's a lifestyle change, or, trying to get, 5 smaller meals a day, kind of depending on your workout, schedule. And, to be honest, I'm a person that works out so I can eat and enjoy my food, more so. So I certainly, abuse my body in the gym. The knees are, going to be back soon.
Yeah.
But, try to keep it healthy with, pretty much vegetables and protein. I don't, eat a lot of bread. Not that I'm scared of carbs, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, I do try to, avoid the carbs to some degree or another.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. That sounds great. Yeah. I'm not
balance,
gonna follow
it's about balance. Don't kill yourself,
yeah.
Enjoy, and portion control, bottom line. It's about portions, don't go eat a whole box of donuts, but, feel free to have a donut or two when you need a donut, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and as for donuts in Atlanta, Sublime Donuts is definitely a go-to, and Revolution Donuts. I'm not sure of the one in Marietta. I'll have to do some research and see. Okay. But yeah, those are 2 of my favorites, I think, in it.
Love it.
Screamin' Nuts in Alpharetta is also very, very good.
Got it. I don't know that one.
What about your favorite spots in New York City? Yeah, definitely for the people from New York, they maybe want to try to get a Bennett spotting. Where are you going to go eat in New York?
I mean, I could talk all day. I'm much better, first with the sort of eats there in New York. I used to be like the human, walking Zagat guide for my friends. It depends what you want. Pizza. I like Ruba Rosa pizza, the vodka pie. Throw in some prosciutto. It's killer. Mm-hmm. Their supreme pizza is awesome as well. There is a fried chicken biscuit place that I absolutely love, and we'll put it up there against, homegrown or anything. And it's called Cheeky's Sandwiches. It's this little hole in the wall in the Lower East Side. But it's a beautiful biscuit and gravy, and it has, which sounds a little strange, but this purple sort of a radish little slaw, which that, as a purist, I'm not usually keen on things like that, but it just adds a little bit of a crunch. Mm-hmm. Really nice. And, wings, there's this place Bar Go To. It's a Japanese spot. Their wings are phenomenal. That's sort of a deficiency here in New York City broadly. There's, oddly, you would think, it's near Buffalo, and so they've got to have great wings, but it's really hard to find good wings in New York, oddly enough. Burger-wise, I love Minetta Tavern. They have an incredible black label burger, super fancy high-end burger. It's really delicious. Also love Emily's and Emmy Squared. It's sort of, they have a couple of different locations now. I think they definitely have one in Nashville. It hasn't quite made it to Atlanta yet. Fingers crossed that's on their cities for the future. But phenomenal pizza. You would never think about a pizza place also having a top burger in the city, but it's pretty much top 3 burger on any list. Let's see. I mean, I can keep going. My absolute favorite restaurant in New York City, and it's a check for, a guy's dinner. It's a check for a special romantic date, special occasion dinner, birthday dinner, is Marc Forgione. And he's my favorite chef. He's a, celebrity chef, really, really cool guy. And he's got a few different restaurants, but Marc Forgione is his first. And they have a chicken under the brick, which is phenomenal. And I know it's, sort of sounds lame to order chicken at restaurants. It's like the throwaway dish. It doesn't excite people, but this chicken is lights out. Every vegetable is really, really special. They've got chili lobster that's like in Texas toast and this delicious spicy sauce. You kind of dip the bread into the sauce, and it has some lobster as well. They've got some great hamachi and different, tartars, and the desserts are really, really killer too. So, I mean, that restaurant, it's one of those places that you sit there and you have a bite and you kind of like grab your mouth and start smiling and laughing and look at the person next to you like, I cannot believe what's going down my throat. That was mind blowing. So love Marc Forgione, and I think it's, great for any sort of occasion. But I'll shut my mouth now because I'll otherwise just keep going all night long on New York restaurants. That's amazing.
I'll have to, go back and listen to this and write all those down for when we can travel again and check out New York. So, but definitely,
There is actually, now you just reminded me, Forgione does have, what is it called? It's called, there's a Atlanta location of a American Cut. Does that ring a bell?
Vaguely, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think okay, so it's in Bucket. All right, American Cut. Okay. This is a Marc Forgione, and he has some of the dishes there, but that they definitely have the tomahawk chop steak, excuse me, that's awesome, and they have that chili lobster dish. So you can get it down in Atlanta. Just gotta go to American Cut. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's an awesome tip. Yeah, sometimes that happens where a restaurant from another city comes and opens something here, and it takes a while for it to catch on because we're not in the know. We're not going there in New York City. So I'll have to give that a go.
Yeah, check it out.
That's exciting. How has life changed for you, I guess, after the show?
My gosh, it's been really overwhelming, to be honest. There's all sorts of new things coming at me, which is super flattering and very, very exciting. But I'm a regular guy at the same time, just trying to keep my head down and work, my job. And I think,
you went back to your same job that you had before?
Correct. Yeah. So I'm, working every day, literally, was on a call leading right up to this one, and been doing that, for years and years now.
Should we invest in GameStop?
No. And to clear up any confusion there, I'm not a wealth manager. I'm not, slinging stocks or anything like that. I'm a consultant for wealth managers and asset managers, and largely it's executive recruiting, helping the firms grow. Sometimes we do some M&A. Sometimes we, help them raise funds to kind of get going. But it's always some sort of human capital component to it. So I would say 75% of it is recruiting. But there is a bit of more of a consulting lens. Sometimes it's management consulting projects where you kind of come in and redesign a management team or something like that. So that's the day job.
Yeah,
keeps me plenty busy, but constant networking, and out there and trying to market your firm and market your services as well. But I'm not stuck behind Excel banging out numbers, and I'm not slinging GameStop.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. You know, when people hear like, "Oh, you work in finance," it's like they're just gonna ask you. It
Sure.
doesn't matter what you do.
Oh, I know. I get it.
So I'm gonna, you know, let you go, let you get back to all your, you know,
Awesome.
your evening. But just one last question.
Sure.
People definitely want to know: are we gonna potentially see you in Bachelor in Paradise?
We'll see. You know, I'm not opposed to it entirely. I'm considering it. I'm thinking about it. I haven't, you know, certainly committed to it. I'm questioning, you know, whether it's, you know, going to be, you know, worth my time to try to find and meet someone. You know, whether it makes sense for myself from a timing wise, you know, business wise, and just sort of where I am positioned with, you know, work and with, you know, opportunities and such. But I'm open to it. And I think that, you know, process will pick up a little in the next, you know, month or two. So
Okay. Yeah. Well,
we
you
shall
know,
see.
we'd love to see more of Bennett. But in the meantime, I guess we can, you know, keep up with you on Instagram, and I'm gonna be waiting for that skincare routine.
We'll do it. We'll do it. For sure.
And all the other fun stuff that you've been posting. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. And I'm excited as well to try all the food you recommended. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, you know, and can't wait to get back to Atlanta. Maybe we can meet sometime when we get out of this pandemic.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.